Naples is the regional capital of Campania and the third largest city of Italy after Rome and Milan, with a population of over 909,000 people. It might not be the most beautiful city in Italy, but it is the place with the best food, which is hard to imagine since all of Italy has incredible food, but even the locals say Naples is where you go to eat. It's the birthplace of pizza, especially the margherita pizza, and tons of other iconic Italian dishes. And I will say we were only in Naples for one day, but the pizza we had there will always be remembered as the best pizza of all 6 of our lives. Naples is also the gateway to the Amalfi Coast because it's the closest airport to the Amalfi Coast. So if you are planning an Amalfi Coast trip, which I have a few videos coming soon on, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on those, I'd recommend staying for an afternoon or even a full day if you have the time in Naples, simply just to eat amazing food before you head over to the Amalfi Coast. So now let me dive into this Naples, Italy travel guide of all the things you need to know before you visit. First, we'll start with planning your trip. When should you go based on the weather? As you can see on the screen, here are the averages per month and the average highs versus lows per month. We went in mid-August and it was 90 degrees every day. So miserable, to be honest. So if I were to plan this trip again, I would definitely plan it for May or October, so you have a little bit more enjoyable weather, not too hot, not too cold. I really do think that picking the right time of year will dramatically affect your trip and kind of what you think about Naples as a whole. Now let's talk about planning your arrival and how to get from the airport to the city center. There's only one main airport in Naples, which makes things easy, airport code NAP, and it's fairly close to the city center, only about 4-ish miles away. So you can hop on the alley bus, tap your card when you get on or like Apple Pay, and then be in the city center in less than 30 minutes. This alley bus is great because it only has 3 stops, 2 in the downtown, and then the third one is all the way down at the Naples port. So it's almost like paying for a shuttle without the expensive price of paying for a shuttle. And this will also be great to know after you come back from the Amalfi Coast via ferry, so you can hop on the bus at the ferry terminal and head straight to the airport from there. There's also another way to arrive to Naples, that's by train, and this is what we did because we came from Rome and it was only about 2-ish hours away by train, which drops you off right in the city center of Naples. So from there we were able to hop on the metro directly and get to our Airbnb. The metro is also tap to pay, so no need to wait in long lines at the ticket booths to buy tickets or like the little kiosks. We saw many people doing that and you absolutely don't need to do that. Now let's talk about where to stay, which in my opinion is one of the most important things for any trip. The Spanish Quarter, or the Quartieri Spagnoli, is the most lively area that I would recommend. Specifically this yellow area that you see on the map right now on the screen. You can see we stayed here and we thought the location was amazing. So many shops and restaurants all around, plus we were able to easily walk to the port to catch our ferry to Sorrento the next day. So I'd recommend narrowing your search down to this yellow area for amenities, convenience, and safety, as I read a ton of things about how many areas in Naples are just not the safest, so you should avoid them. So do make sure that you don't venture off too far without doing some research. Now let's talk about getting around the city using public transportation. For those of you who have traveled to other large European cities that have impeccable public transportation like London, Barcelona, or Paris, let me just preface this section with Naples, or really any big city in Italy, does not fall under this category. Italy in general has some of the worst public transportation in all of Europe, in my personal opinion. And the reason I say this is because not only are the buses and metros a little bit run down, like not as nice, but they are extremely unreliable and the times between each one is absurd. Again, just comparing to other large cities in Europe. If you're only there for one day like us and you kind of just have a stopover before your Amalfi Coast trip, you probably won't really need to use it that much, just getting from the airport or the train station. So just know this going into your trip. Yes, you can use public transportation because there is a bus and a metro system in Naples, but don't rely on it too much. If you did watch my Rome video though, you know I said their metro was basically just not usable because it's not a very connected metro and it was under construction anyways. But as you can see here on the map, Naples is actually a lot better than Rome. Still not great if you compare it to cities like London, but definitely better than Rome. One thing I really did like about their public transportation system though, which is the same as here in London, is that they recently updated everything so it's all tap to pay, meaning when you hop on the bus or get to the metro station, you can just use Apple Pay or any type of bank card that you can tap in and out. You do not need to buy a public transportation card and top it up at one of those kiosks, which is super inconvenient and annoying. Paris. It also just has a flat rate of €1.50 for public transportation in Naples, which is really cheap. Now let's dive into currency and cost of things. They use the euro here, as they do in most countries within the European Union, and as of August 2024, the exchange rate to USD is almost pretty much even, which is so refreshing coming from the UK where the pound is absolutely not. Naples is significantly cheaper than Rome. I'd say on average a spritz type drink like an Aperol spritz or limoncello spritz was around €1 to €3. A beer was around €4. Pizza ranged from about €6 to €10 depending on your toppings, of course, and a pasta dish was probably €7 to €12. So I'd consider it a very cheap city in Western Europe. I will say that you will not need cash anywhere. Literally everything is tap to pay now, which is very convenient. So don't feel like you need to go to your bank and get out euros before your trip. Just make sure you have a credit card with no international transaction fees. And if you're looking for one, I can highly recommend the Capital One Quicksilver card, which I'll put in the description below. Next, I want to talk about some must-have souvenirs, which normally I'd like to talk about like Naples specific ones, but the things Naples are really known for aren't souvenirs that you can take home. I mean, I wish I could take home one of their amazing pizzas, but I'm sure it just wouldn't taste great after the flight. So instead, I'll mention some typical Italian souvenirs you'd want to get no matter what city you're visiting in Italy. Italian leather products, wine, olive oil, pistachio cream, and limoncello, just to name a few. So if you don't have a checked bag like me, you'd want to stick with the leather products or just get a tiny taster bottle of things, something like limoncello, like you can see on the screen. And then when you head to the Amalfi Coast next, you can buy some more regionally specific or Amalfi specific souvenirs, which I'll dive more into in next week's video. And of course, I want to talk about the must-try foods in Naples. Now, of course, when you think of Italy, you think pasta, gelato, pizza, lasagna, gnocchi, cannolis, so many other amazing things, which you should literally try everywhere in Italy. Just eat as much as you possibly can when you're there. It will all be amazing. But for Naples specific dishes to try, the first one is the city's most iconic dish, Neapolitan pizza, which is like what we think of as a margherita pizza made with tomatoes and mozzarella cheese. Naples is famous for this pizza specifically, but honestly all pizza in general. Naples is considered the birthplace of pizza, so try as many pizzas as you can while you're here. I promise you'll taste a difference compared to other pizzas in other cities. Next is sfogliatella, a unique Neapolitan pastry stuffed with semolina, ricotta cheese, eggs, sugar, and candied fruit. Just like everywhere in Europe, the pastries are unreal, not like anything we have in the States, so it's always fun to try city or regional specific pastries. Next, you want to try spaghetti alla puttanesca, which is a pasta dish made with a unique sauce that has fresh tomato, extra virgin olive oil, black olives, capers, garlic, and anchovies. It's very unique to Naples. Now let's talk about buffalo mozzarella, which of course you could eat plain, but it's probably something you want to get a dish that has buffalo mozzarella in or on it. This dairy product is made only in the Campania region of Italy, and authentic Campania buffalo mozzarella has to be eaten within 48 hours of its production time, making it absolutely impossible to try as like an imported food, especially in the States or somewhere far. So I promise you will taste the freshness. It's unlike any other mozzarella you've ever eaten. And honestly, there are so many Naples specific dishes to try. Like if you look on a menu and anything says Neapolitan blah 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 and like the name of a dish, just try it. It's specific to the city or to this region in general, and I'm sure it'll be so amazing. I'm just giving you a few to get started with. And as you're planning your trip, know that a really popular route is to start your trip in Rome, take the train to Naples, and then the ferry from here to Amalfi Coast, like I mentioned a few times. So the next few weeks, I will have a ton of Amalfi Coast content coming, and the last few weeks, I posted a ton of Rome content to help you plan that full itinerary. So now let's take a look at my Rome 3-day itinerary to help you get started.